My daughter asked me not to go to her wedding, only to see it on the internet, so I taught him live. What happens when a mother stops shutting up? The message ended at 7:13 a.m. Just as I was serving my first coffee of the day. Had no business, only Luciana Herrera said. For a moment I smiled. Maybe she wanted to tell me something new about the dress. Or thank me once again for covering the outline of the flowers. But when I opened it I knew "Hi Mom." After much chat with Damien's parents and the organizer, we closed the guest list. Will be very intimate into Quisqui Open. Damien's mother insisted on keeping him small. But we will transmit it. You can watch it from home. Almost as it will be there is the Zoom link. With Luciana my hand did not shake. I did not throw the cup away. But I stayed, watching the screen until the coffee got cold. It did not say "Dear Mom," nor was there warmth, only "Mom" as a tracking code stuck in a box. I read it 1 times. My eyes stopped on the last line, "Ha ha ha." A laugh or an attempt, clumsy that something hurtful seems nice. I wrote only for words, of course. Have a nice day. No emotion, no sign, just that. Pressed send, washed cup. I wore my office pants. And I went out as if it were just any other Thursday. But it wasn't. Something moved, not outside, inside me. Yes, I swallowed rashes. I adapted. I agreed to always be the last option, but this. It was not a missed call, or an unsigned birthday card. Was intentional, was his way of saying, "I don't love you" there. I didn't cry. I did not scream. I only drove to work, with a question stuck between his chest and head. At what moment my love became a hindrance? It is strange what remains hidden. When something inside breaks, no the screams, no the slingshots, the silence. I remembered one night years ago, in front of the old washing machine, balancing a bucket of clothes on the hip, deciding whether to pay for gas or send the deposit from Luciana University. I chose the university. That month we slept with 2 sweaters. Nobody tells you that about being a mother. It's not just kisses and lessons. It's to choose others about yourself. Are your teeth without hearts? Your old shoes, your cancelled vacation. The silent math you do every day. How much more I can give without being empty. When Samuel died I had to paths. Break or bend, I bent, I turned to rock. 50-hour working days in the office, the roof pantry. Clothes all on my shoulders. But I never made them feel it. That was my rule. Luciana changed careers twice. Every time I changed more subjects, more and more I paid for it. When he wanted to move to Merida for a temporary job, I emptied my savings for the 6-month deposit. I also covered his return flight. And when at 28 I was crying, by a guy who left her with only a floor and a chair, I took a plane. I made him soup. I washed that apartment as if he still needed me. I thought at least he's still looking for me. I never carried the account. I did not add pesos or Rs. But maybe I should have saved a corner for myself, because now I don't even have a chair reserved. That's what hurts the most. Not only to be left out, is to rewrite history without you. I didn't buy his love. I gave him the foundations. I never thought I would use what I built for him to raise a life where I had no place. I was his home since he was born. And now somehow I'm a nuisance, a logistical adjustment, an internet viewer. And you? From which country are you listening to me? I want to know how far this story goes. I did not cry on the way to the bank. My chest wasn't burning either. It was something else, like that instant before the skies, when the air stops and everything smells in return. The manager called me instantly. We had spoken weeks ago, when I made the first transfer of 500,000 pesos To the event garden into Quisqui open. Praised my signature, so clear, so firm. Said that day I smiled, today no. Mrs. Herrera said as he woke up, how I can help you. I sat slowly, keeping the bag by my feet. My voice sounded quietly cutting. I want to cancel the transfer scheduled for 10. The 900,000 one Eid. The second payment of the wedding. I can know why. Doubtful choice. Things changed, I responded without raising the tone. Reviewed his screen, nodded. You are lucky. Has not yet been processed, can I cancel it? I signed to more forms. The feather weighed as if it had the years that no one saw. At sunrise it eat against the windshield. As if the world were still the same. But it was not. I stayed in the car for a few minutes outside. An elderly couple was walking slowly towards the entrance. Holding hands. I wondered what it feels like to have someone see you. Even when you no longer have anything to offer. At home I opened the wine I had saved for November. Luciana was going to visit me on Day of the Dead, but cancelled 2 days earlier. Work stuff said. I poured a drink. I sat on the porch. The cell phone vibrated twice, then once and once more. Luciana. Damien, magic numbers. I turned the phone upside down, wanted explanations, but for the first time in a long time. Had nothing to say. By Friday morning the downpour started. Message after message. Notifications marked as urgent and please. Most of them were Luciana's. Some of numbers I did not recognize. Probably the organizer. Perhaps one over one of Damien trying to sound neutral, while pushing the agenda. At the beginning the tone was polite, measured. Hi Mom, maybe the bank delayed the deposit. The organizer says she has not received it. Then the nuance changed. Mom, payment. The place says that if it is not solved before 5 o'clock they lose. The date the florist asks for confirmation. Cannot keep the order without full payment. I did not respond. I didn't delete them either. I let them pile up as evidence. As an echo of a world falling into but no longer intimacy. Then came the audios. His voice sounded loudly. That controlled tone that people use when they try to look like Serena. But it is with a thread to break. I know you're upset. I didn't mean to hurt you. This is all more complicated than it looks. Yes, Damien's mother was furious. Said he did it on purpose. I knew that because Luciana mentioned it, as if trying to save my image. I told him you are not like that, he whispered. But there I stopped listening. I couldn't. To bear for them to speak. Of me as if it were a scandal to manage. An obstacle that costs. That afternoon I opened the kitchen cabinet. Where I keep my old recipes. I haven't done it in years. I looked for my mother's cake. Handwriting faded, ink notes in the margins. I baked calmly. As if every step was a way to come back to me. The phone was on the countertop. And at 2:14 p.m. Wrote what I knew would come. Not because it mattered, but because I said it all. Is fine. If this is for not having invited you, we can see how to make you a place. But please, we need that money. I beg you. That was the moment when everything fit together. Was not welcome. It was foreign exchange currency. He did not love his mother. Wanted the transfer. My presence was no longer secondary and was now conditional. One more line resource in the organizer's Excel. I stood in front of the stove. I cleaned flour from the bar, served another cup of coffee without crying. No rage, no revenge plan, only numbers. For years I covered the account without asking for anything. But this time I was no longer in debt to anyone. I finished paying those who only knew how to measure. My love, how fast I said yes. It was past 6 o'clock when I heard the dubious soft touch. Of those who say, if you don't answer, I understand. I had just taken a lemon pie out of the oven, was not hungry. I just needed to occupy my hands with the smell. Filled the house with a warmth I had not felt for weeks. When I opened the door, not because I didn't recognize it, but because years had passed. Was Laura more adult? Marked cheekbones. A makeup I didn't use to wear, but the eyes were the same. Friendly with a touch of nerves. Good afternoon, Mrs. Herrera said in a low voice. Is a bad time. Pass by answering me to the side. You are always welcome. Smiled shyly and followed me to the kitchen. Smells like cake here, it is, sit down. Did so without protest. It was always like this, Laura, respectful observer. One of the few friends of Luciana's who tried to. My home as a home. Not as a way station. I put 2 cups on the table, I passed one on him. He did not drink immediately. She doesn't know I came. He said at last, I imagined it. Luciana was still out of her mind according to everyone. Yells at Damien, cries alone, smiles in public. As if I couldn't accept that he's screwed up, I removed my tea. That would imply assuming responsibility, Laura felt. Continues to say that it was complicated, that he didn't think it would affect you so much not to be on the list. I let out a short sigh. That's the problem. Did not think it is not bad. Added Laura in a lower voice. It's just broken in a way you couldn't fix it. I looked at it. Direct. Some time ago I stopped trying to paint it, she never noticed. Laura swallowed saliva. Thinks you hate her. I only learned to love myself more. I kept silent. Then said there is something I can do to change this. I denied with my head. You don't need to paint it, Laura, I already let go. We remained silent, the teapot in the distance. The smell of sugar and lemon floated in the air. Is going to ask you if you are going to the wedding, he said when he woke up. I was all ready, I said, short. I just wasn't invited. At the door turned. You were the only one she thought would never go away to feel. That's why it hurt when I did it. The wedding did not happen as dreamed. Event garden cancelled due to non-payment. The florist also. Weeks no response, no deposit. The organizer left them. Unrealistic expectations towards Kurt according to Damien. He tried to soften it, I left him. What was left was a tent in Damien's parents' yard, mounted on the run, and even chairs. Tablecloths from a guy playing guitar, some neighbors, to over 130 people, including the one who brought the tacos. Luciana wore another dress from a downtown store, ivory satin. Not the designer. Damien said he looked good but not happy. In the photos, Vikiga. His chest tightened. Did not transmit it, did not send a link. That morning I woke up early, I did. Oatmeal hot cakes. I bought the blackberries the day before on sale, I had no plan. I just thought it was a good start. At 10 o'clock an email arrived from Luciana issue. Please read, this was long. Half makeup. Said he regretted. All that he didn't want to make me feel unwanted. That the pressure, the decisions, the list. Everything got out of control, but never said. Sorry for what I did. Just sorry if it hurt, I read it twice, I filed it. There was a time when I would have responded to that email, in which he would have analyzed each word, looking for if any of them meant hope. But she was no longer that woman. That day I dressed me to my hair and I went to my ceramics class. I made a cup. Was unevenly thick on one side with a chipped edge. But by holding it, Felt real imperfect. My pants at night have become my favorite. Ceramics, then dinner with Patricia and Monica. 2 colleagues in the office. Women who never asked me for anything. But they always kept room for me. We laugh at failed recipes. Of absurd anecdotes and the relief it gives to stop pretending. And so I began to heal. Not with revenge, nor with hearts with peace. Because when someone makes your love, your absence becomes powerful. And when they no longer need you to support it all, you can finally support yourself. A quiet Sunday like that. Where autumn. Mexican asks for sweater, but the sun still kisses the skin. I was in the backyard tending my tomato plants. They all said that I planted them late, which would not bear fruit. That it was a waste of time, but there they were, firm greens. Full of small promises. The cell phone vibrated in my pocket. I let it ring and die. When I checked him, I saw his name, Luciana Herrera. A new voicemail. I did not hear it immediately. I finished watering. I cut dry leaves. I need the stakes I used to hold them. Then I sat in the shade alone when everything was calm. Press reproduce. Please, Mom, just tell me what you want, that was all. 7 words said, short, tired with broken edges. But one word was still missing. The one I never asked for out of pity, just out of respect. He didn't say sorry, he just asked to know what he wanted. To see if it was something I could give. I did not return the call. Instead, I deleted the without drama, without ritual. Because what I wanted was already happening. Wanted tomorrow without fear of disappointment. Days where my love will not be negotiated as hearts. To sit in a garden that I myself sowed. Drinking coffee in a cup made by my hands. And feel complete without having to be necessary. That night I took an apple tree to Monica's house. We sat under the courtyard lights. His dog snored at our feet. Told me that her daughter sent her a meme about menopause. Laughed so much that he cried. We are not talking about Luciana. And I didn't think of her until later. Washing dishes. When I realized I hadn't thought about her all day. Not with pain, not with tears, only with peace. There were no shouting or epic closing. No perfect. Only silence. Only air, only life, finally mine again. Some weddings are just. But there are absences. Which are the real votes? And this time I made them for myself.